Bread had survived the hand. It had survived the machine. Now, it would cross the ocean. For most of human history, bread stayed close to home. The grain was local. The mill was local. The baker was local. What you ate depended entirely on where you were born. In Egypt, emmer wheat, flat and dense. In Rome, wheat loaves distributed by the state. In medieval Europe, dark rye, heavy with the soil it grew in. Every civilization baked differently, because every civilization grew differently. But something was coming that would change all of that. Ships. The first grain ships were not built for trade. They were built for survival. Ancient Rome could not feed itself. The city had grown too large, too fast. So Rome looked outward, to Egypt, to North Africa, to Sicily. Grain moved across the Mediterranean in wooden hulls, hundreds of thousands of tons every year, to feed a city that had made itself dependent on distant fields. When those ships were late, Rome felt it within days, not weeks, days. The city that had conquered the world could be brought to its knees by wind and weather. But Rome was only the beginning. As empires expanded, grain became the first truly global commodity. The great plains of North America, the pampas of Argentina, the wheat fields of Australia, land that had never seen a plough was broken open and planted. Millions of acres, billions of bushels. Grain was no longer something you grew for your village. It was something you grew for the world. And the world paid for it. Grain exchanges opened in Chicago, London, Liverpool. The price of wheat was set not by the baker down the street, but by traders in rooms far away from any field. A drought in Kansas could raise the price of bread in Cairo. A surplus in Argentina could bankrupt a farmer in France. For the first time, the fate of the loaf on your table was decided by forces you could neither see nor control. Bread had become global, and with that came a new kind of hunger. Not the hunger of the wanderer, the hunger of the man who watched the ships leave his port full of grain while his children went without. The pattern was not new, it was ancient, but the scale was different now. Bread had become infrastructure. And then it became politics again. In 1917, Germany blockaded British grain ships. Britain rationed bread for the first time in its modern history. In the same year, bread shortages helped ignite a revolution in Russia. The Tsar fell not to ideology alone, but to empty bakeries. The same ancient equation. No bread, no peace. By the 20th century, controlling wheat meant controlling nations. The United States used grain as diplomacy, food aid as influence, surplus as power. The phrase food security entered the language of governments, because everyone had learned the same lesson that the first Sumerian administrator carved into clay 4,000 years earlier. Whoever holds the grain holds everything. The wandering had ended. The cities had risen. The machines had come. The ships had crossed every ocean, and still, grain to stone, stone to flour, flour to water, water to fire. The motion unchanged. In every port city on earth, in every field stretching to the horizon, in every bakery that opens before dawn. The story of bread is the story of how far we have traveled. Bread crossed every ocean, fed every empire. But one question remained unanswered. Who goes hungry when there is enough for everyone?